Hello Dragon Ballers, it's Dokkan, and today we are going to discuss the top 10 teams on Global. Now, ever since I did my top 10 teams just in general, which would be kind of a combination of JP and Global, I got a lot of requests from people saying, can you do a top 10 global exclusive? So I decided that that's how we're going to do this from now on. Every time there's a new update or anything like that, I'll give an updated top 10 on global, and then I'll keep JP isolated. So we won't see the Rage Vegeta on JP version. We won't see Pycon. We won't see any global exclusives. We won't see on the JP version. Likewise, on Global, we won't see team builds that include units that are only available on JP right now. A couple of rules that I kind of changed up a little bit. When I did my top 10 team building, I had a lot of people saying that I shouldn't base the team solely on the amount of damage done per turn. I would argue that damage is the most important thing when it comes to the meta of this game. But you're right, it's not everything. So whenever there was kind of a close call between how much damage a team does and how much HP / defensive utilities they have, I went ahead and factored that in. So I put a little bit of my opinion in. This is going to be a little bit more opinionated and open for debate. So feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Another rule that I changed is I think I buffed Super Vegito a little bit too much. Any unit that has counterattacks, I was giving them way too many counters per turn. So I brought the counters down a little bit, so Super Vegito's overall damage output has been lowered a little bit, so that should help make a more realistic calculation for him. All units are calculated at Rainbow Star. That is the other thing that is really, really crucial to this. I wanted to show the best teams at their best. And for all units that are hard hitters, I'm going full crit and, secondary additional for them, except for any Super Gogeta unit and LR Trunks, in which case I favored additional over crit. All support units, being those that don't hit hard but are just there because of their supportive passive, are either max dodge with crit as a secondary, or if they stun or lower attack or anything like that, max additional with dodge being the secondary. So that all being said, let's just jump right into it. We've got number 10, Extreme Tech. This surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting this team to place at all, but I went ahead and did damage calculations for everything, and I'm really glad I did. The main thing that makes this team place is how much damage they do. By the way, below all of this stuff, you'll see the overall HP that the whole team has, and then the average damage per turn based off of the 4 different types of rotations you can have. By that I mean, you've got your 2 main rotations, and then you've got your, actually it's 6. You've got your 2 main rotations, and then you've got your 3 floaters. So I've done calculations for how much damage each turn will do, each different turn anyway, and factored all of that in to get the average damage per turn plus the HP. So that'll be a little reference guide for you. Extreme Tech places because they do so much damage. And if you have a problem with Broly's defense lowering passive, you can float him, because actually Fusion Zamasu is a better partner for LR Black, and LR Black is going to be the heaviest hitting unit on this team, so that can help out with that. Broly won't be coming out as often, so that can help with that. Also, Zamasu, or not Zamasu, but LR Black heals you. He also tanks really well, so that's kind of, it's sort of balancing the synergy, but still, getting hit with Broly after he collects a lot of ki is pretty bad, and having a nuker and an LR coming out on opposite turns of each other, that's some really poor synergy there, because you usually want to save up ki for your LRs or for your nukers. So that can be a bit of an issue, and just in general, this team does have some key issues sometimes. The rotation with Mass Saiyan and Broly, there's only prepared for battle, so that can be a bit of an issue. But just the overall damage output puts this team at number 10. At number 9, we have Super Tech. Super Tech is a really unfortunate kind of team. The really unfortunate thing is Gotenks, mostly. Gotenks has the problem of getting to his 12 key way too often. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. You really want him at his 11 key because not only does he drop from immense damage, but he drops from immense all the way down to extreme. In between those two is supreme damage. Extreme damage is very, very low damage. So at his 12 key, it really hurts this team out quite a bit. This team also lacks any semblance of defense. Any semblance of defense whatsoever, besides in the support here and there. But you do have the stun chance with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and the damage output is really nice on this team for the most part. You also have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who can be a tank, but only after he super attacks. And for the most part, if he gets super attacked, he's going to counter with that 70% counter chance. So that's what helps this team out quite a bit. But you are going to get hard. You are going to get hit hard. Ooh, watch it there. You are going to get hit hard on all of your other units. So that is kind of what holds this team back. Next, we've got Realm of Gods. The main issue with Realm of Gods is you're only getting 4 key between the two leaders, and now you've got LR Vegito Blue, you've got LR Black. By the time you're done giving those guys their key, whoever's in the 3rd slot is going to suffer to super attack. And I know this because I run this team, and I run into this issue all the time, constantly. Still, though, it does a pretty solid amount of damage, and the tankiness on this team is ridiculous. LR Vegito Blue tanks really, really well. LR Black tanks really well. Once you get below 50% HP, if you do, because LR Black also heals you, you end up with Ultra Instinct Goku dodging constantly. The problem with Ultra Instinct Goku mostly is that if you run him in a main rotation, you can slowly start to build up his attack to the point that he's actually starting to hit pretty hard, but you're losing that fierce battle link. And so you would rather focus on linking up your LR, so you end up floating Ultra Instinct Goku, which means that he doesn't get enough attacks off by the time the battle's over to really shine. But he's still a very fantastic unit. It's really the key issues at having 2 LRs that really hold this team back from being one of the top tier ones. But I imagine with a Dokkan Awakening for Ultra Instinct Goku, that's not going to be a huge issue anymore. And this team, you'll see it rise up in the ranks. Next, we've got Super Int. Super Int places at this level just because of the other teams there. Once you get here, all of these teams are great. The top 7 are all fantastic teams, just fantastic teams. This one, obviously, LR Gohan is going to do massive amounts of damage, especially on the turn that Whirus comes out with him. That is just going to be It's amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing when those two are on the field together. Super Gogeta, of course, is really nice because he's got that super effective against everyone thing, and Vegeta is just a great unit. He will soon be replaced on Global. As soon as Bardock comes out, he becomes a much better option than Vegeta. But in the meantime, this team does struggle with key links ever so slightly, but not enough that it's an issue. It's very manageable, and with your support units, you don't really need to super attack with them. They're not doing that much damage anyway, so if that's what you have to do to make sure that your main core super attacks, then you're good to go. The one big problem defensively is Whirus will take lots of damage. So as long as you've invested a lot in dodge in Whirus, if you've got dupes of him, at 100%, the way I've calculated it, he's got, level 15 dodge. So that can work out pretty well, but you can't always rely on that. It's a 15% chance. So he will be getting hit very, very hard. That's one of the main issues with his team. Moving on to number 6, we've got the Shadow Dragon Saga. Now this team is only this low because of damage output. When you have a supreme attack dealing unit like Sin Shenron on a main rotation, that is going to hurt in the long run. Also, when you're running the optimal team, LR Trunks does hit harder than GT Trunks. I can prove it mathematically, I'm not even kidding. Even if he never gets off his 18 key super attack, he still does hit harder than GT Trunks. So the biggest issue that this team runs into is not key links, because it's a very smooth team. The key links are all over the place. Basically, the way it works is this team links up so well, you can basically just save orbs for LR Trunks, who is a floater. The best way to run it is put the Super Saiyan 4s on one rotation, and then the Omega and Sin on another rotation, and you float the other Omega, and you float the other two. So you can just save up ki for LR Trunks, and he will always get his 18 plus super attack off. And that crit damage, just that built-in crit, is really, really nice for LR Trunks. So he works very well, because once again, Omega does give that boost to physical types. So really, really nice to have. The main issue with this team is the damage output. It's Sin. You gotta run Sin with Omega because they have so many good links together. But because Sin's on a main rotation, that kind of holds his team back a little bit from hitting as hard as some of these other teams. Anyway, top 5 now. At number 5, we've got Super Physical. Now, this was a judgment call on my part, and this is completely opinion-based. 5 and 4, they're interchangeable. They're very, very close as far as total HP, as far as damage output, but I've put Super Physical down here because it has less defense than the next team that we're going to talk about. But this team does have a good amount of defense. Gotenks is the exception here. Gotenks lowers his own defense in the first 7 turns that he's out, but he raises his attack. So he can get hit pretty hard, but Super Vegito tanks really, really nicely, especially at 100%, and with all of those counters, he's going to be doing massive, massive amounts of damage. He is a slow starter, so on something like Super Battle Road, that can be a bit of an issue, but he will get hit enough times to start doing massive amounts of damage, and he will do just fine. Yeah, this is just a really, really solidly built team. Gotenks can get to his 11 ki pretty easily, but even if you get him to his 12 ki, he's still doing immense damage because he's the better version of the Tech 1. So that's not even that big of an issue. You're just losing a 70% boost for the most part. Moving on, we've got Super STR. Now this I put here just because every single unit in your core, on your two main rotations, every single unit has some sort of damage reduction capabilities. You've got ultra high defense that Super Saiyan 4 Goku will start building for himself. You've got Ultimate Gohan who has the chance to guard and also raises defense of all of your units. You've got Rage Vegeta who's got really, really high attack and defense, so he tanks pretty well, and then LR Vegeta Blue, of course, tanks really well too. So in addition to doing a lot of damage, a very similar amount of damage to Super Physical, this team also tanks incredibly well. So your survivability with this team increases quite a bit from Super Physical. So that's why I've put them a little higher. The main thing this team struggles with, though, is key support. And by the way, before you start talking about Super Gogeta, we're talking Rainbow Starred units. Ultimate Gohan does perform better than Super Gogeta at Rainbow Star because Super Gogeta has a flat passive, and as you put them through the dupe system, you'll notice that other units will start to gain on Super Vegeta or on Super Gogeta, whereas Gogeta doesn't quite peak the way other units with a percent passive will. So keep that in mind at all times. At number 3, we've got the Majin Buu Saga. This team is fantastic. It's amazing. The greatest thing is that the LR you're focusing on, Majin Vegeta, only needs to get to 12 ki to get his Mega Colossal 540% attack boost. So that's really nice to have. You've got a lot of stunners. You got 2 stunners in a row if you run the Super Saiyan 3 Goku variation, but I much prefer running LR Trunks and Goten, and because they will be coming out on the Rising Dragon Festival banner, I'm going to go ahead and include them in Global because that unit is almost available. So that's the way I prefer to run this. They've got Shattering the Limit, so that helps out. Trunks and Goten provide themselves with ki all the time, so they pretty much always get their 18 ki super attack off if you set up properly. And of course, Super Vegito is on this team, who's an amazing, amazing unit to have. This team doesn't really have, it's got a good amount of defense, but not really anything to write home about. It's basically a better version of Super Physical, though. You've got more options. You've got better options. You're still using the best Super Physical units, but now you can also add in a couple of LRs too. So that's really nice to have. Now, number 2. At number 2, we've got... Who is it? Fusion. It's Fusion. Fusion is one of the smoothest running teams in this entire meta. It's just... First of all, everyone's got Fuse Fighter. Everyone. And yes, I know Vegito isn't in the Fusion category, but he's a tech type, and that 30% boost is better than running Seal Tanks. You can run Seal Tanks too for that Seal and be even more defensive if you want, but Fusion is just one of the most well put together teams. The links are incredible. They just... I cannot say enough good things. And of course, the damage output is great. The HP is great. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta alone is just a fantastic unit to have. Just look at it. I don't even... There's no problem anywhere. I challenge you to find me what is wrong with this team. It's incredible. But of course, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, once again, does take a lot more damage than the other units in his first 7 turns, so that is the one thing to be a little bit cautious of. But running him with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you're gonna mostly take attacks with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Though the one issue with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is he can only tank after his super attack. But he has high enough stats that he doesn't take too much damage, and once again, he has a very high chance to counter super attacks. Now finally, at number 1, we have Extreme Int. Everyone knew it was going to be here. Everyone knew Extreme Int was going to be the one. Kid Buu is just the best unit in the game. Nah, I'm kidding, it's Hybrid Saiyans. Everyone knew that though. Everyone knew Hybrid Saiyans was going to be here. Just look at all these LRs. I mean, come on. Come on. This team is absolutely insane. This is the hardest hitting team, first of all. Only 130% boost to attack, mostly because you have so many LRs here that it would be ridiculous to have it any other way. But this team works out really well. You've got shocking speed and shattering the limit on Trunks and Goten and LR Trunks. So like that right off the bat, Trunks only needs 2 ki to super attack, only needs 8 ki to get all the way up. And you've got Weirus coming out who can help out Trunks. He really helps out LR Gohan. This is an insane team. It's ridiculous how good this team is. So that's the top 10 for you. Here they all are in case you forgot. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. There are 5 teams that I did damage calculations for that did not make the list. Would you like me to do a bottom 5 video or something like explaining why those 5 teams did not make the list, what I think could make them better, things that are coming in the future that could improve those teams and do improve those teams in JP? Let me know if you want to make that video down in the comment section below. In fact, you know what? Let's do a poll. Let me know if you want to hear about the bottom 5 teams. I know a lot of people were looking for Super AGL. Super AGL, very close runner-up to Extreme Tech. I made the judgment call just because of Extreme Tech's damage. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Take the poll. Let me know if you want to hear about those bottom 5. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on updating top 10 JP teams to keep that was weird, JP teams to incorporate LR Vegito and Gogeta. So I'm going to go have fun with that. That's going to be my next big project. But let me know if you want to hear about the bottom 5. I would gladly go into that. I have the numbers right here. We can do that. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Of course, please give me your thoughts. I would love to talk with you guys. Keep it friendly. I like a nice debate. I don't like an argument. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, hashtag I made it down in the comment section below, because I know this one's a long one. It feels long. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.